Hello, everybody. Eric Worre here. Good to see you. Hope you're well. Hope you had a spectacular weekend. I'm excited to be able to chat with you today about belief. How do you build? How do you strengthen? How do you grow belief? How do you transfer belief to other people? How do you kind of strengthen this belief muscle? And is it important? Does it matter if you're building a business? Do you have to believe or you just have to be skilled? What happens when you have both? Okay, so we're going to talk about that today. Um, I'm excited because this week I head to Malaysia in 3 days, but between now and then, we've got some incredible speakers every day, 11 a.m. Pacific time today, tomorrow, and Wednesday before I head out to Kuala Lumpur late Wednesday. But what I'm been wanting to do is just drop in really smart people that have cracked the code at parts of growing a network marketing business. And I've had over the course of last week, hopefully you've been able to jump on one or more, or go watch on my wall on Instagram or on Facebook or on YouTube. You can watch these replays, but it's about 30 minutes or so of top people sharing good ideas that you can use in order to be able to grow a better network marketing business. Okay. So before we start, I'm going to introduce Michael Bellow in just a moment, and we're going to talk about how to create a belief breakthrough for you and everybody on your team. But before I do that, I'm probably best known for this book, GoPro, 7 Steps to Becoming a Network Marketing Professional. This book was released 12 years ago. Okay. And put a 1 in the chat if you know of this book or you've read this book. You know, if it's you know it, you've read it, or if it's helped you in some way, physical book, audio book over the course of the last 12 years. This book has sold over 4 million copies, 19 languages that we know of, many languages that were unofficial. So there's probably an additional 4 million books rolling around out there in the world. But it's taken 12 years. It's been a project 12 years in the making, but there's a new book coming out this next March. This is just a mock-up. A new book coming out this next March that is going to be 10 times the book of GoPro. And I want to have each and every one of you get your hands on a copy of this new book, a physical copy, for free. Now, here's how that's going to happen. We're hosting our GoPro Experience event, December 5th, 6th, and 7th. If you haven't written that date down, if you haven't blocked out those days, December 5, 6, and 7, 9 a.m. Pacific to 5 p.m. Pacific time each day for 3 consecutive days. This is our 16th year of the GoPro Experience. This will be the biggest event in network marketing history. The biggest event, not the biggest GoPro event. The biggest event in network marketing history. Okay? Well over 100,000 people will be watching from all over the world. Every corner of the earth. We're providing free live translation in English, Spanish, French, Italian, German, and Polish. So, and even if you don't speak one of those languages, or you have people on your team that don't, have them solve the translation problem on their side. Because here's the deal. An online streaming ticket for that event, December 5th, 6th, and 7th, is normally $300. Okay? Worth every penny. 24 hours of content for $300. You'll never get more value when it comes to training in your life. Okay? $300 for a very limited time. And I cannot tell you how long it's going to last, but for a very limited time, you can get a ticket to the GoPro Experience for $3. You and everybody on your team can get an online streaming ticket with translation for just $3, $1 a day. Okay? So if you already have your ticket to the GoPro Experience, put a 7 in the chat. If you would like to get a ticket, put a 3 in the chat. If your Instagram and Facebook will send you an automatic message with the link, if you put a 3 in the chat, you check your DMs, or go to GoPro2025.com. So 7 in the chat if you're already registered, 3 in the chat if you'd like to get information about it, or go to GoPro2025.com. GoPro2025.com. GoProExperience.com. That's going to get you all the information. And everybody who shows up in person or virtual at the GoPro Experience, you will have the opportunity to get just one per person, one copy of the new book, a physical copy, for free. Okay? The book is zero cost. You pay shipping wherever you are in the world, and we will send it to you. Okay? So if you'd like to get a free copy, we're trying to figure out how many we're going to order for that weekend. It's going to be kind of crazy. So we're trying to guess how many. First of all, how many people are going to get a ticket? How many people are going to show up? How many of those people are going to want to pay shipping and get a book sent to them? Just kind of curious, you know. So we're playing with that number. We don't have an exact number yet, but we're ordering paper. Let's just put it that way with the publishing company in order to be able to make sure the book is ready. Can't give you the title of the book. The book isn't question mark, by the way. Even this is just a mock-up, but I can't give you the title of the book yet because that's all being finalized. We got fancy designers that are working on it from big fancy firms that are going to help us make it great because it's going to deserve to be great. So 3 in the chat as you go through this. Tag somebody who needs to hear about the GoPro Experience, December 5th, 6th, and 7th. Day 1 on recruiting. Day 2 on duplication. Day 3 on leadership. So if you need help with recruiting, help with duplication, help with leadership, help with sales, help with AI, help with technology, make sure that you're there. Make sure every person on your team is there. At $3, this is the best tool you can use. You want to lock your team in? You want to get them really solid? Insist that they get a ticket. Okay? So enough about that. We'll come back and circle back at the end. But I have Michael Bellow here who's going to join us. Michael, come on up. Michael has been building a business and doing very well for quite some time. How long have you been involved in the profession, Michael?
11 years.
11 years now. A young man, but still 11 years. You feel like a veteran or you feel like a newbie?
I feel like both. I've only started making the sort of money I'm making now in the last few years, so that feels new. But I feel like I've been in the industry a long time. So yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy in our business. We can feel like we've been around forever when we've been hanging around for 3, 4, 5 years, just because we outlast somebody else. You know, we stay a little bit longer. When the team chatted with you about the topics we could talk about today, what kept coming up is this idea of belief and having a breakthrough of belief. Like when you go work for the post office, you don't need to have belief.
No.
You just have to do what you're told. You know, well, I mean, some jobs maybe you have to have belief, but I mean, you don't have to have a belief to be an accountant. You just have to count the numbers properly. Why is belief? Tell people just your basic background, overview, and why is belief?
Yeah.
Why has it been such a big deal for you?
So, like I said, I've started the industry 11 years ago, so I was 21. And the environment I grew up in and my background, I grew up in London, UK. And I'll say the way I grew up in terms of the environment what I was exposed to, I had I had very limiting beliefs in terms of what was possible for me. Um, my mum raised 5 of us by herself, grew up in a very low income household. So I didn't understand this growing up, but when I got to a certain age, I realized that I had a lot of limiting beliefs that was holding me back from believing it's possible for me to make a certain amount of money. It's possible for me to have a certain type of lifestyle. And that was showing up in lack of confidence, lack of taking action, making excuses, seeing other people that are winning. And even though they're no better than me, it will show up in excuses as to why I couldn't do it. And so when I realized that I had this limiting belief, it was through a book called Think and Grow Rich, which I studied quite a lot. I started to do a lot of work on self confidence, building my belief system, building my character, visualizing who I want to be in the future, and then working on becoming that person. And then it's been a journey over the last 11 years of becoming who I am today.
Yeah. It's interesting for me. It's like if you don't have belief in yourself, I think belief goes through different stages, right? You can believe in your product, you can believe in your business opportunity, your compensation plan, you can believe in your company, you can believe in your team, you can believe in your upline,
Mhm.
um, you can even believe in other people,
Yeah.
but believing in yourself is kind of hard. At least it was for me, because I was pretty tough on myself, and I didn't have a lot of evidence of success prior to getting involved in network marketing. I had a lot of talk, but I didn't have a lot of evidence. Everything was, I was very good at blaming other people for my problems. I wasn't
Mm.
good at finishing. I wasn't good at, I don't know, being excellent at something. So for me, I needed to borrow other people's belief at the beginning. Other people say, I
Mhm.
see something in you. I borrowed their belief until I could
Mm.
get some evidence that I could prove to myself that you know what, I can actually do this. Did you go through a
Mhm.
process of building belief? I mean, and what is there a flow? Do you build belief in other things first and then belief in yourself, or do you build belief in yourself first, or how did it go for you?
I think the biggest thing was the association part. I'd say that was the key. My first 3 years in the industry, I never made more than $500 in a month, and that was for 3 years. Um, my second 3 years, making 6 years in total, I never made more than $2,000 in a month. So that's 6 years in the industry, you know, not making the sort of money that I dreamed to make in the beginning. And what kept me going through those 6 years was being in an environment and hearing stories. I think the stories for me did it. Like there was always one story of somebody that I knew wasn't more special than me. They came through a worse situation than me, similar background, and they were able to do it. So the more I saw those stories, the more I heard those stories at every event, that just gave me the drive for the next 3 months or the drive for the next 6 months to keep pushing. That one day will happen. And then being closely associated with people that had the results, so mentors, coaches, that was a big deal for me because I realized the closer you got to someone who had the results that you want, you just realize that they're nothing special. They're just like
Yeah,
you. And the more I realized that, the more confidence it gave me that actually, success is not reserved for special people or superstars. These people have flaws just like I do. These people, have things they're not confident in just like I do. These people have their own problems just like I do. And just being around those people, it just kind of became more normal and not just this big thing that was out of reach. So I think close association with the people that had the results that I wanted gave me a lot of belief that I could do as well.
well, a couple things. First of all, some people say that comparison, just this idea of comparing yourself to other people, can really hurt you. They say comparison is the thief of
Okay.
joy, right?
Yeah.
So but you used comparison to your advantage. You
Yeah.
compared yourself to somebody and said, you know what, they're a nice person, but they don't have like some huge advantage that I can't develop. So you used comparison as a positive to motivate you, to inspire you. So you got some inspiration from seeing other
Hmm.
people succeed, even though you weren't. Because you went through what, like 4 years of making less than a couple thousand a month?
Yeah. 6 years. 6 years.
6 years of making less than a
Yeah.
couple thousand a month. How were you surviving?
As in like financially or
Yeah.
mentally.
Did you have a job or
I mean,
something?
I had jobs here and there. I used to work in recruitment as a consultant, so that's like HR. So I had a job, and this was something I was doing, of course, part time, if you'd call it that. But the vision was to always go full time and have this as a profession. So yeah, I think in the early stages, if I didn't have a job, another income, like I wouldn't have survived.
Yeah. But and again, some people go full time. For me, I wasn't capable of going full time real fast.
Yeah.
Excuse me, of being part time emotionally.
Okay.
I'm not able to um, split my mind that way. And
Yeah.
like I'm working for this, and now I got to turn that off, and now I got to go do this, and now I got to turn that off and do this. I really struggle with it,
Yeah.
so I just jumped in because I didn't have much to lose because I was already at the bottom, um,
Yeah.
getting involved. So you had a base of income enough to survive, but not enough to be happy. So you were working through 6 years, and you had a little bit of evidence that it could work, and you were around other people that were having success. Was there one person in particular that made you realize that you could do this?
There was one story that I always stuck to. Um, Holton Bugs. There was a training he did that I watched online when he said he spent 7 years in the industry, never made more than I think was a couple of $100 a month, and he went on to become the number one income earner at that time.
Was
And I
that
heard this
was
story.
that red the red jacket kind of outfit thing?
Yes, yes,
He
it
did
was
that at one of
very
our
recent.
GoPro events. That was at the
Yes,
GoPro event. That was a good talk.
yes, it was. It was that was one story I could remember. Probably 2 to 3 years in, I heard that story, and that was one of the stories that just made me think I'm never gonna quit. Like if
Mm.
you can go that long and not see results, and become the number one income earner in the whole industry, it made me realize it doesn't matter where you start. There's absolutely no difference how you start. So that was one story that I can remember that I stuck to that made an impact on me. Um, so yeah, that was probably the biggest one.
Did your family structure, your friends, were they encouraging you to keep going in your network marketing experience, or in the first 6 years were they saying, "Are you crazy"?
No, I got a lot of stick in the beginning. Friends made fun of me as they do, but I think after 4 years in the industry, I think my friends and family just knew I wasn't going to stop. So that slowly faded away. But in the first year, it was tough because I wasn't making no money. And I was committed to every event, every international event. I say I was making a few hundred a month, but I was probably losing money from the travels, the events, invested into the business. So I was probably in negative the first 3 years. But I think it reached a certain point where they just knew he's so adamant. This is his lane. He's not going to stop, and then that slowly started to fade away. But the
You
support
kind
was
of
not there.
know. You kind of know when you've arrived at a certain part. It's interesting. I don't know if I've ever talked about it, but um, when your friends and family are going to give you shit about
Hmm.
being involved. Sometimes, not everybody. Sometimes they're very encouraging, but if they give you um, challenges,
Mm,
if they give you just if they try to discourage you, if they try to talk you out of it, they only do it because they think that they can succeed. And so
mm,
you're giving them some sort of clues that maybe you might quit. That's the only reason why they will. But
mm.
like you said, once you show them you're not going to, then they'll stop.
Yeah,
Um, my family stopped. My friends stopped. Some of them still don't. Still to this day, they're like, I don't understand what he does, um,
yeah,
uh, at all. But they're not going to try and talk me out of it. Hey, you should think about doing something else.
yeah.
It's like, no, that's not going to happen. So you do know that you've arrived at a certain level when your hot market, your close friends and family, stops telling you you're involved in the wrong thing, and
Mm,
just accepts it. And the other thing too is if somebody's giving you a hassle, they're giving you a hard time, and they're a close friend or family. Some of them are just tired of watching you crawl. Because you've
hmm,
been crawling through your network marketing experience. So they're just tired of watching you crawl because it's not worth crawling. If you're going to do this is a hard business.
mm,
If you're going to crawl, I'd wish other things for you, because it's kind of I'm either set your expectations at a hobby level and have a hobby income and enjoy yourself,
Hmm.
or go all in and go big.
Yeah.
That's kind of my
Yeah.
belief. Because I think the in between is where all the pain is. It's,
Yeah.
you don't you have all this like high expectation. You don't have any money. You're not getting better really. You're just kind of hanging around, and you're hoping for things to change. And that's the got to be the most miserable place ever. So, what flipped the switch for you? When did it flip, and all of a sudden,
Mm.
uh, things changed? You started making more money.
Mm.
Everything turned around.
So it's an interesting one. I don't even know if you know this part of the story, Eric. But in 2017, I gave up. I quit the industry. Um, and I got involved in a wrong crowd, the wrong circles, and I was basically reselling London travel cards as a side hustle. And I rejoined the industry in 2018, but some of the things I was involved in 2017 came back to bite me pretty much. So long story short, 2020, I went to prison. So
Mm,
during COVID, so
mm,
I spent 8 months in prison, and that was a massive turning point. In my head, I just thought, I've never in a million years expected I would end up in a place like this, in a situation like this. I felt as though I let the community down because I was still in the industry at that point. So it came as a big shock, a big surprise. I'm here one day and the next day, like I'm gone. I felt like I let my family down. And I just made a decision that, you know what, enough's enough. I've been in the industry for, at that point, it would have been 7 years, on and off. And I never had a breakthrough. So within that time, I spent 8 months just really figuring out, what do I want? I started to set goals. I set a 1 year goal, 3 year goal, 5 year goal, 10 year goal. And it was goals on all areas. It wasn't just money, it was the type of person I need to become. I set goals on how I'm going to show up, how I'm going to present myself. I set goals on, you know, being inducted into GoPro. I set goals of hitting a certain rank in a company I was in. I set goals of where I want to live. I set goals of the lifestyle I want. And during that period, I really hammered down on that book, Think and Grow Rich. I read it about 8 times in 8 months. So it was like once a month that I'd read through that book. And I started to do a lot of the activities in that book. And a lot of it was around building your desire, building your self confidence, and then using that to actually go out there and take massive action. So every day during those 8 months, I'd visualize for 2 hours at least. And I'll be visualizing things like getting promoted on stage, or walking on stage at GoPro, or, retiring my mum, or where I'm gonna live. I'll just spend my time visualizing all these things. And every day I'd read my goals. I had like 100 different goals on different aspects, and I'll read them every single day. And I'll just speak to myself in the mirror. It sounds crazy, but I literally would speak to myself in the mirror, and I would speak confidence. Anything I felt as though I was lacking, I would speak confidence into the mirror every single day as a strategy. And then when I came out, I was ready to go. It was like 8 months locked in, 23 hours a day, and I was just ready to go. And so after coming out, um, I took massive action, but the action was now with confidence. It was with certainty. It was a non-negotiable attitude. It was, this has to get done type of mindset. And 9 months later, I got to a five-figure a month position for the first time. And
mm.
then from there, every single year, it just kind of kept growing and growing and growing. So that was a major turning point for me. It was 2020 during COVID. I spent most of it in prison. And it just gave me the time to really shape my mindset, rethink what I want, and just come out all guns blazing.
Yeah, and I would tell you the interesting thing. just about every profession around the world, if you make a mistake, if you make a big life mistake, there's no coming back.
Mm.
Because that's gonna show up in the job interview. That's gonna show up in the CV somewhere in the background or whatever, and you're just kind of like on the edges of society after that. People make mistakes. Sometimes people make mistakes to get caught. Sometimes they don't. But making mistakes and then having an opportunity where what somebody won't like lock you out of your ability to be able to move forward and to be able to move up in an organization, learning from mistakes. That's what you're able to do. That the I, I wouldn't wish this on anybody. What you went through, but I think sometimes going through something like that, a low point, however the low point is, there's so many people in our business that um, had a turning point or a breakthrough from a low point.
Mhm. Yeah.
It might be just financially embarrassed. It might be getting fired from a job. It might be something. But from there, big decisions are made, big goals are set, big targets, big action. It's like I'm not doing this again. Enough. You hit this bottom, and people deal with that with addiction. They deal with that with other habits in their life. They hit a bottom where they decide. It's not somewhere outside. They decide inside that they're going to go after it, and that's what you did. And
Hmm.
the other thing I would say for people is like, look, 5 years ago he was in a bad place. 5 years later, he's in a very good place. So, you know, some of you are like, oh my gosh, I'm already X years old. You're going to be 5 years older anyway. What if you
Yep.
decided to really go after something? What if you decided to really do something aggressive? And instead of looking for shortcuts or angles, you're looking for service because the failure that you had came at the expense of others. The success that
Hmm.
you had came at the service to others,
Hmm.
helping other people.
Yep.
So proud of you for all of that. Um,
Thank
Through
you.
this whole thing, I know one thing. How big is your organization now, approximately?
About 10,000,
About 10,000 people.
active. Yeah.
Yeah, and how many of those did you personally enroll? Approximately
Out of the ones that are still active, maybe 60.
60 or so, which turned into 10,000,
Yeah.
which is
Overall, it wasn't 60. It was a lot more than 60 overall, but active, I'd say about that.
yeah. So 60 active people turned into about 10,000 active people, um, and and what I'm trying to let people understand there is, you figure out leverage, you
Hmm.
figure out how to have success in our business. That's what that's about. It's not about the 60. It's not about you, and it's not about the 60. It's about the 10,000, and then the
Hmm.
20,000, then the 100,000. Um, how much has GoPro helped your team over the course of the last 5 years? The GoPro experience. What's that done for them?
I think for we've been plugging into GoPro, I'd say for the core team since I started the industry. Um, I think it just gave us a much bigger picture on the industry. Sometimes when you get started, you can kind of look at your company or your local event or your home meeting that you've gone to as the whole industry, right? Or today you might look at social media and you look at your company or a leader of your company and you might see that as the whole industry. So when I first joined the industry, it seemed very small. My first event that I went to, that is the picture I had of the whole industry. And so when I began to plug into GoPro and realize, hold on, this is way bigger, this is global. There are so many different companies, so many different products, so many different success stories. That just made me realize this is a lot bigger. This is an actual profession. And I think the biggest thing it's done for my group is giving us the mindset that this is an actual profession. This isn't a side hustle. This isn't something for you to just make extra money. This is an actual profession. And if you treat it as so, undeniably, it for me, it will pay you more and give you more fulfillment, more leverage, better lifestyle than any other industry I know out there. So I think that's the biggest thing it did for us. It expanded our minds on the actual industry.
Yeah, the interesting thing is 16 years ago when we agreed to do this, everybody said it was impossible. Everybody said there's no way you're going to be able to do a generic event for the entire profession and not have everybody trying to steal each other,
Mhm.
to their organizations. But when we did them live in person, we didn't really have any challenges with that over the last 11 years. Then since we started doing them small in person, like 400 people in person in our big studio here in Las Vegas, and then streaming to the rest of the world, there's no issues there, just none. So success does leave clues, though. If you can see what other people are doing, and maybe they're thinking bigger, they're approaching things differently. It's real time crowdsourcing what's working. We're not
Mhm.
guessing what's working
Yeah.
in the world today. We know exactly who the fastest growing organizations are and what they are doing, and they're willing to share what they're doing to get more sales, more recruiting, more retention, more duplication, more development of leadership, more people showing up for their events, all of the various skills that are important inside of network marketing. So, out of the 10,000 people, how many of the 10,000 are you going to try and get to attend at the $3 price while we have the $3?
It's 3,000 is the
Three
number.
thousand's the goal. Okay,
That's the goal.
yeah.
Yeah.
If 3,000 people are willing to at least spend $3, come
Yeah.
on. You can't you can't, they can't complain. I
Yeah.
told you and I told the other people that are in our mastermind that I would do it for free if I knew people would treat it seriously. But
Hmm.
I think people just need to have a little bit of skin in the game, and
Yeah.
it's not $300, and you can tell everybody that's what we sell the tickets for. $300
Yeah.
is what we
Yeah.
sell the tickets for every other year. So this is 99% off. It's 1% of what a person would normally spend. $1 a day for the best training in the world, 8 hours a day for 3 days, delivered in 6 languages. So if you
Yeah.
are already registered, throw a 7 in the chat. Let us know that you're registered. If you would like to get the link, put a 3 in the chat or go to GoPro2025.com. Maybe you can type that into the chat for us, GoPro2025.com. And if some of you really care about your team, tag them in this thread. Tag them on this live right now. Just tag them in the comments so they see this and they know that you believe in them and they know that you want to see them have success. The more people you bring to this event, I promise you, it's just the best leverage tool you can think of. And if you're on YouTube, the 3 won't work. If you're on YouTube, it'll only work on Facebook and Instagram. So you have to go to GoPro2025.com if you're on YouTube. GoPro2025.com. And that will get you that same link. So those of you who put a 7 in the chat, I can't wait to see you. Those of you who put a 3 in the chat, I can't wait for you to get a ticket. And make sure it's not just you showing up. Bring a friend. Bring some people with you. Push hard. Michael's pushing. He already has hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people. We just started promoting this. Hundreds and hundreds. December 5th, 6th, and 7th, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Pacific time. Those 3 days, 6 languages. You'll have the option to get a copy of the new book. GoPro sold over 4 million copies. The new book's going to do much, much better when it comes to helping you make money. Michael, I'm going to let you have the last word.
I'm gonna say 100% plug in. You're gonna get a lot of value in terms of information, of course. But I think what to look out for is the stories of people that have reached a certain level. And I think when you hear a story, there's two things you can do. You can either idolize or you can get inspired. I think idolizing is putting those people on a pedestal. Idolizing is looking up at people, and seeing them in a position that you think you can't get there. And I think being inspired is looking at those success stories and saying, you know what, one day that's going to be me. So the last message is when you do plug in, when you do hear these success stories, soak in the value, take notes, but get inspired and don't idolize.
Love it. Love it, love it, love it. Network marketing is not perfect, but it is better for the average person to be able to flex their entrepreneurial muscle. Almost $200 billion a year in sales, over 100 million people involved, almost $200 million in commissions paid out to distributors around the world every single day, 365 days a year. Obviously, success leaves clues. At GoPro, we're going to show you specifically how the most successful people do what they do. 3 days, change your life. So I hope you attend. We'll show you a quick video here at the end that'll also give you a link. Michael, good to talk to you, my friend. I can't wait to see you in face-to-face sometime soon. Appreciate you. Everybody, have a great day. Bye-bye.
Take care.
Network marketing is rapidly changing. The question is, are you going to reinvent yourself, your business, your team, your future? Or are you going to get left behind? Technology has changed everything. Consumer behavior has shifted. According to the Business Research Companies Direct Selling Global Market Report, published in January of 2025, the global network marketing size will grow from $194 billion in 2024 to over $206 billion in 2025, and is projected to grow to $264 billion in 2029. The only question is, will you capture that growth? December 5th, 6th, and 7th. This isn't about motivation. This is about reinvention. How to recruit, duplicate, and lead in today's new world. You'll learn how to use digital tools the right way, how to communicate with total authenticity, and how to fix the biggest problem in network marketing, retention. For this event, because it's such an important time, is just $3. That's right, $3. $1 per day. For 3 days of virtual life-changing training. And for everyone who shows up live as a show-up bonus, you're going to receive a free VIP advanced review edition of my brand new book. Just pay shipping and handling. The investment is tiny compared to the potential return. So you got a choice. You can keep doing what you've been doing and hope things magically turn around, or you can join me and get the tools and strategies you need to help you reinvent your business and your future. December 5th through the 7th could be the turning point in your career. Let's shape the future of your business and your team while making network marketing history together. Lock in your seat, and I'll see you at the GoPro experience.